Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we're going to look at how we should have completed our drag and drop key concepts along with identifying the correct diagram that best shows this key concept. So hopefully these don't look terribly different from what we've done in the past. But for key concept one, we know that individuals with adaptive traits are more likely to live longer and have offspring, and individuals with non-adaptive traits are more likely to die without having offspring. For key concept two, genes are instructions for making protein molecules, and protein molecules determine an organism's traits. And last but not least, individuals inherit their genes from their parents. Genes and therefore traits in a population are passed down from generation to generation. Hopefully, all of these ideas sound familiar. Key concept number one is something we've explored in depth with all of our simulations, with our australopes and thorn palms and carnithons. Key concepts 2 and 3 are more of the Otis and Ruby concepts that we looked at and the idea of how they reproduce and inherit traits. So when we look at our 1, 2, 3 keys, we should have marked them as follows. The first one goes with number 2, second one goes with number 1, and the third one goes with number 3. So let's go ahead and take a look. Adaptive traits are more likely to live longer and have offspring, and non-adaptive traits are not. So when we look at that, we're looking at this key concept here. We're able to see that the hawk obviously is here. Some mice are eaten, showing that some are living, some are dying. Some mice are reproducing. So the question is, who's reproducing and why? When we look at the diagram, we're able to identify, hey, the background is gray or black, I guess, and those gray and black mice tend to live. If we look at the middle one, there's more of those than the white ones. And then last but not least, obviously there's more black, meaning they reproduced. So I'm able to look at this key concept and say, okay, the adaptive trait was black. The offspring that were more likely to live were the black ones. The individuals with non-adaptive, the white, were dying, and their numbers were going down. The red one, key concept number 2. Here we have some DNA, and we know that there are genes in DNA, and they code for molecules that are responsible for some different traits that we have in our body. So genes are instructions for making protein molecules. So these genes in the DNA code and create protein molecules, and we know that they determine an organism's traits. So whatever is created is responsible for anything from eye color to anything else that we have as traits for every organism on Earth. Last but not least, individuals inherit their genes from their parents. Genes and therefore traits in a population are passed down from generation to generation. Well, we have all of our 2 parents here in our 2 families in our population here. And if you notice, our parents on either side, we have different things that deal with carriers and non-carriers. The carriers and non-carriers can be things like carriers for certain genetic traits or non-carriers for certain genetic diseases, things like that. And if you notice, we have some different possibilities for when their offspring are born. We have offspring that are a split between mom and dad. We have offspring that are all of one type, whether it's all white or all black, but showing us the different variation of traits that can get passed down, and then obviously how those traits come from their parents. So that's how we complete the key concept, drag and drop vocab, and the key concept matching for the diagrams. At this point, identify how you did. Reach out if you have questions or if you're unsure of anything and you're ready to move on. Great job.